The man suddenly realized while selling a gun that the buyer was able to load the gun faster than him by 3 seconds, despite him being a special agent. Even when he deliberately adjusted the scope, the buyer still managed to hit the bullseye with precision. This made him instantly realize that the buyer was definitely a professional assassin. A thought flashed across his mind. A few days ago, he had requested retirement from the organization, and shortly after, the organization arranged this transaction. He was certain there had to be a connection between the two. However, he didn't expect that, at this moment, the buyer would directly hand him the sniper rifle and ask Jack to fire at a target beside him to test the silencer. Jack could have easily taken out this potential threat with a single shot, but he didn't do that. Instead, he thought of a better way. After testing the weapon, the buyer was very satisfied with the gun and immediately paid Jack a sum of money. But Jack didn't hand over the gun. He told the buyer that the gun needed modifications and asked him to wait 3 more days. The buyer didn't think much of it. When Jack was about to leave, he intentionally parked his car by the roadside, kicked the bumper, and broke it. Then, he quickly drove into a repair shop, pretending to be a driver wanting to fix his car, and casually stole some parts. These parts would help him carry out his plan. Back home, Jack quickly dismantled the stolen parts and shaped them with a hammer into what he needed. He then cut a steel pipe into countless small pieces. Finally, he assembled them onto a prepared casing. A sniper silencer was completed. Next, he needed to make a proper gun body. So, he bought some parts from the black market, and after some assembly, the gun looked identical to a regular firearm. The next step was the most crucial. He first polished the bullet's head flat, then drilled a small hole in it. Finally, he carefully dropped mercury into the bullet. This way, even if the shot didn't kill the enemy, the mercury's poison would ensure the enemy didn't survive for long. Soon, 3 days passed. Jack arrived at the designated location to deliver the gun as promised. He thought everything would go smoothly, but to his surprise, the buyer suddenly asked to go to the bathroom to inspect the gun. In that moment, Jack's heart raced. Fortunately, the buyer didn't detect anything unusual in the end. Jack, looking at the remaining payment in his hand, seemed to realize that he had overthought it. However, on the way back, the buyer suddenly received a mysterious phone call. At this moment, Jack also keenly sensed the danger, so he decided to leave the city with his girlfriend. But just then, a sniper scope silently aimed at him, and the person behind it was the female assassin who had been part of the deal. Seeing her target, the assassin decisively pulled the trigger. However, she never expected the gun to explode instead.